According to Minato, Naruto ran to the toilet and used Shadow Clone. Only a small amount of chakra was used. At the same time, Minato condenses chakra in the 8 trigram space and injects it into Naruto Shadow Clone. Minato is just a consciousness. I don't have my own chakra, I use 9 tails. The pupils of Naruto's Shadow Clone instantly turned into vertical eyes. But these features all disappeared after a transformation technique. Are you sure you want to become like this? Naruto looked at myself in front of him with a strange expression. Control of this Shadow Clone belongs to Minato. Minato, after all, is the existence that can enter the perfect Jinchuriki once resurrected. In a short period of time, I have gained some experience in using 9 tails chakra. What can become? You don't know the grown-up I have become. Minato scratched his head in embarrassment. I haven't seen it. Naruto shook his head decisively, but I know who it is. Minato was even more confused. One of the Sannin, Jiraiya, was also Orochimaru's former teammate, companion. 113 Naruto said with a blank face. But Minato was more and more confused. But, Naruto, have you really seen this lord? I'm sure. Naruto held his dead fish eyes, but his tone was extremely firm. I haven't seen a single face in 12 years. There's another one of Sannin, Master Tsunade. I've never seen her in my whole life. Minato fell silent. Teacher, why even the teacher has been like this for so many years? Minato thought of Kakashi again. Same. He has played for Konoha for so many years, and he didn't even show his face until Naruto graduated. If the latter is because of Sarutobi Hirazen's order. That teacher. Mom told you to go first. At this time, Naruto spoke. It was conveyed on behalf of. Minato was taken aback. Okay. Minato disappeared. Naruto exhaled. He didn't lie, and he didn't add anything maliciously. BBEJ, it's true that Jiraiya hasn't seen Naruto in 12 years. The same goes for Tsunade as Kushina's only distant relative. 9 tails Jinchuriki, perhaps indeed cannot leave the village. But the minimum warning, it can still be done. In this regard, the two of them are not even as clear as Itachi, who is less than half their age. Sasuke is the last Uchiha on the wooden Yi Ming surface. After the genocide, 3rd generation and Danzo did not dare to use any means against it. After 3rd generation's death, Itachi returned to Konoha as soon as possible, and used actions to warn Konoha's senior management. Itachi's 10-year-old rebellion can still make Konoha so afraid. Jiraiya, minimum the 2 cage-level powerhouses didn't even want to come back and have a look. It can only be said that it is a little sad, but none of this has anything to do with Naruto. Back to the ring. Sure enough, Orochimaru was gone. And now on the field, are Sasuke and Yakushi Kabuto. Yakushi Kabuto is still maintaining his 7 years genin personality. It looks like a mess, but it can always avoid Sasuke's attack in a reasonable way. Sasuke gradually regained his confidence. Yakushi Kabuto, who was 50-50 with Kakashi, beat up his real strength. Finally, Yakushi Kabuto saw that the timing was almost up. He resisted Sasuke's punch, and quickly closed the seal while retreating. Water-style water cannonball. Don't even think about overturning the trash, fire-style great fireball technique. Sasuke poured chakra madly, but suddenly. The sharp pain in his shoulder made him tremble. The fireball just condensed and suddenly disappeared. Sasuke let out a muffled groan and almost fell directly to the ground. Really? Anko and Kakashi frowned at the same time. Anko was the first to discover the situation. Orochimaru also planted a spell on Sasuke. But when Sasuke woke up, there was nothing unusual at first. Now it seems, I have to try to seal it. Kakashi's eyes were cold, but fortunately, Sasuke adjusted quickly. He dodged Yakushi Kabuto's water style in time, and at the same time gritted his teeth and got close, punching Yakushi Kabuto in the stomach. Yakushi Kabuto let out a scream of resignation. It flew upside down, and finally landed heavily on the ground. This is real acting. Even Kushina felt that Sasuke played too hard. But After Yakushi Kabuto was sent away, Naruto sensed it. This guy probably used a shadow clone and left quickly. At the same time, Minato followed closely behind. Minato followed along with a transformation technique camouflaged pocket. Finally, Orochimaru was found in a corner outside the test site. The curse seal has taken effect, but this child has good willpower, so he forcibly didn't let the curse seal spread. Yakushi Kabuto smiled lightly. Need me to guide you a little bit after this? Let that child take its course. Orochimaru gave a smirk. Compared to this, I care more about this person who followed you all the way. What? Do's expression was startled. He quickly turned his head to look, but saw nothing. You go back first. Orochimaru waved his hand. The plan is going on as usual, and this guy is handed over to me. It will make you unaware. It's interesting. Yakushi Kabuto no longer hesitated, immediately lifted the shadow clone, and disappeared into a white smoke. See? Minato also stopped hiding, walked straight out of the shadows. Long time no see, Orochimaru. Orochimaru looked at Jiraiya in front of him, and the smile on his face remained unchanged. Although you have changed your chakra and are very proficient in transformation technique, you seem to have picked the wrong one. Orochimaru spread his hands. I'm too familiar with this guy. You should change someone. Naruto-kun. Minato was slightly surprised. It is the first time to use Nine Tails chakra loudspeaker. It seems that you need to be familiar with it. Is this to see that it is Naruto's shadow clone? No, it should be a test. But it doesn't matter anymore. Is there a difference? Minato responded coldly. If you don't even recognize me, then there's no need for you and me to cooperate. Back to the third assessment. After Sasuke's victory, it continued for a few more games. It's boring, but the result is more or less the same as in the anime. Sakura Jr. was defeated and stopped in the third game. Shikamaru successfully advanced through IQ. Choji was defeated by a ranged shinobi because he consumed too much energy in the second round. Tianshin was still won by Tamari. Hinata is no exception. She tries her best, but her enemy is Otogakure, ninja who was trained by Orochimaru. There is the first battle between Naruto and Xiao Li. That wonderful physical combat, Xiao Li's super speed, and Naruto's two-tailed mode. Although there was no earth-shattering battle, it was a good start. And every game that followed seemed bleak in comparison. Until a fight broke out between Neji and Gaara. The last Konoha Shinobi School chief student faced Sand Shinobi's one-tailed Jinchuriki. Few of those present knew the exact identity of Gaara. Neji is also one of them. At first, Neji also used Gentle Fist to deal with Gaara's sand. Even once approaching Gaara, he used 8 trigrams palms to break through the sand defense and knock down a piece of Gaara's sand armor. Then, Gaara enters the rage phase. The yellow sand roared towards Neji. Neji was not to be outdone at first. The speed of Huang Sha was only half of Xiao Li's. But Li always stops, and his punches don't really hurt Neji. But Gaara attacked with killing intent. Finally, in desperation, Neji was forced to use Revolving Heaven in advance. But it is of no avail, a drop in the bucket. It was the old father, Might Guy, who forcibly shot and knocked Gaara's offensive away with his palm. Woke up Gaara, who nearly went into kill mode. Neji was seriously injured, but in Naruto's view, at least life is saved. Hinata's opponent, Zack Stirrup, whose fate was already doomed, became a sacrifice for Orochimaru's reincarnation second generation. Wait until the battle is over. After drawing the battle order for the second time, each team disbanded on the spot. Naruto drew 3 this time. His opponent is Gaara, who got number 4. Neji is missing, but it speeds up the encounter between the two. So far, the third Chunin assessment is over. Kakashi found the 7th class, to be precise, found Sasuke and little Sakura. Next, we have a month. Kakashi held up a finger. At this time, everyone doesn't need to do missions, just prepare well and collect information or something. Kushina kept complaining in the 8-sign seal space. This brat, how did he change so much when he grows up? He used to be very responsible and reliable. Naruto didn't respond. But little Sakura was a little flustered. Teacher, I failed the assessment, what should I do? Well, Kakashi pretended to think about it, and then looked at little Sakura with a smile. At the same time, he also handed her a letter of recommendation. I originally planned to wait for you to speak before giving it to you, but it doesn't matter. Nurse from Konoha Hospital Novice. Your chakra is very delicate, you can definitely try it. Of course, whether to go or not depends on your personal wishes. Little Sakura accepted the letter of recommendation silently, lowered her head, not knowing what she was thinking. As for you, Naruto. Kakashi scratched his head and said, well, what I should teach you, you seem to know it already. As for what I'm best at, you certainly won't be able to learn it. So, I found you a teacher who is several times stronger than me, and he will come over soon, you wait here. Okay. Naruto nodded blankly. In the original anime, Kakashi found Ebisu for him, but was finally taken away by Jiraiya. Naruto estimated that Jiraiya should be back now, but Kakashi should not be looking for him. But it doesn't matter. The point is not with him. He doesn't deserve it. Let's see how Minato plans to operate it. Let's go, Sasuke. The smile on Kakashi's face faded away and turned serious. Let's deal with the matter on your shoulders first. Be prepared. It will be painful. Sasuke sneered disdainfully. Pain? Ah, you know nothing about pain. 3 minutes later, Sasuke's screams sounded from somewhere. The 7th class each left the examination room. Naruto is getting ready to go home, but Kushina sensed something. Naruto. Don't go home first, go to the right, then straight. Ask for flowers. Kushina's tone was serious. I sensed a familiar breath, leading me to find him. Point 389. Naruto secretly exhaled. He knows who it is. I just mentioned it in the toilet at noon today. Jiraiya. One of the many hacks of the original body in the anime. I taught Rasengan, who used it from the beginning to the end, not to say. The existence of this person is also an entry ticket to the Mount Myoboku immortal art. It can be said that if the original body does not have the guidance and teaching of Jiraiya, it may not even be as good as the 4th generation project in the later stage. There is no doubt that Jiraiya is a buff package. But here comes the problem. Rasengan, he already has LV. Point 0. The only time it was used, it directly bombed a root's body. 14. It is sold in the system, and it is available in the 3 major fairylands. A bit pricey though. And the bad value needed to upgrade, I am afraid that before the cage level template, I can't afford it no matter what. But the problem is, if you follow Jiraiya, you won't be able to reach full level. And let's talk about magic. Naruto prefers to choose Wetbone Forest. Without him, I am not afraid of death, but Kushina is so insistent that he has no need to refuse. And look at Kushina's appearance. Probably, he wanted to vent his anger on Jiraiya. Follow Kushina's instructions. Naruto soon saw the wretched figure squatting by the wall. It really is him. Kushina's tone turned cold. Naruto, listen to mom, go up and beat him hard. Okay. Naruto agreed simply, but I haven't taken a few steps. With Shadow Clone gone, Minato is back. Kushina, Naruto, I still don't think I can put Orochimaru, huh? Minato was about to give his assessment of Orochimaru. Suddenly found that Kushina's mood was not quite right. Through Naruto's perspective, he saw that figure. Minato instinctively twitched with joy. But soon, he heard what Naruto said today. 12 years, I'm sure I haven't seen him at this moment. Minato's eyes gradually became complicated, before being merged with 9 tails by Naruto. Minato's feelings for Konoha have been nothing but disappointment. Holding the mentality of not letting his son become a tailed beast. Minato and Kushina entered the consciousness of 9 tails without hesitation. They succeeded. The consciousness of 9 tails fell asleep completely, and now only these chakra are left, and they can freely dominate. In other words, they are 9 tails, but they also failed. They can dominate the chakra of 9 tails, they suppressed 9 tails consciousness. But at the same time, the chakra and consciousness of 9 tails are also affecting them. Minato and Kushina didn't even realize it themselves. Their ideas, thinking, are slowly becoming extreme. Nine Tails will wake up eventually. After all, this is a part of the sacred tree, and it is immortal. 590. Until then, Minato and Kushina may still only be part of Nine Tails. But that's all for later. This moment, when the Minato couple saw Jiraiya again. They once regarded this as their beloved, as their old. Even his son is named after the man who is the protagonist of his novel. Kushina is crisp, she just wanted to vent her dissatisfaction with this guy. And Minato, he still doesn't know how to face it. Naruto walked towards Jiraiya step by step. Kushina muttered incessantly from behind. This lascivious fellow is as good as Sarutobi Hiruzen. Back then, if it wasn't for him, Minato wouldn't have become Hokage so early. He's obviously so powerful, obviously. If he was still there back then, our 10 families wouldn't be like what they are now. The more Kushina talked, the more angry she became, and the more she talked, the more excited she became. In the end, it was actually sobbing again. Minato could only hug his wife gently, but he didn't know what to say to comfort him. Yes. The teacher brought him to that path of ninja, which has the same meaning as a lighting lamp for his ninja career. But when he needed him most in his life, the teacher is not here. When his own son was suffering, the teacher was not there. FFLX. What kind of posture do you want me to take to face you now, Mr. Jiraiya? Minato also choked up for a moment. He was extremely disappointed in Konoha and Sarutobi Hiruzen. This disappointment has even begun to gradually turn into hatred. But for the teacher, he can't hate it. Disappointed with ultimate though, Naruto walked on the road silently. In the space of 8 trigrams, the emotions of the two are so clear. He is getting closer and closer to Jiraiya, FFLX. Do you really want to punch this guy? Naruto hesitated for a moment. In the end, he let out a sigh of relief. Just beat it. Chun Dang vented his anger on Kushina. Naruto suddenly sprinted and was about to kick Jiraiya in the back of the head. Murderous. Mount Myoboku Toad Sage was alert, as if he had eyes behind his back. He jumped up high. If Naruto's kick hits, I'm afraid he will see many girls in the bathhouse. But he was already prepared. The kicked foot was retracted in an instant, and then the other kicked directly upwards. Snapped. Ah! The careless Jiraiya was hit hard and howled on the spot. This moment, Naruto frowned. He felt his legs were not clean. This moment, the Minato couple's eyes widened. Minato forgot to struggle, and Kushina forgot to cry. It hurts, it must hurt. Kushina even felt a little distressed. Minato clamped his legs even more. This is a pain that only a man understands. He can already feel it. It hurts, hurts, hurts. Broken, 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 broken. Jiraiya fell to the ground, her legs clamped tightly to cover little Jiraiya, rolling in pain. Naruto was also a little embarrassed. Taking stock of all cage-level ninjas, the one whose actions do not match their strength is this one. Sasuke probably could have avoided a move, but this guy would actually resist? Who gave you confidence, please? However, looking at Jiraiya in pain, Naruto's expression became more and more strange. Should I keep beating him? Naruto asked tentatively. Minato couldn't bear it. After all, this was his teacher. But Kushina is not so soft-hearted. Keep beating him up, give him a wolf beating. Kushina's red hair fluttered, as if she had entered a state of rage. If it wasn't for this guy, Minato wouldn't have to be a Hokage at all. Don't think I don't know. The old man Sarutobi Hiruzen was actually the first person to pass on the throne. Beat him hard. The master and apprentice duo fooled Minato into an idiot, willing to abandon his wife and son and protect Konoha. As a result, now a Manin world is running and peeping, and the other has made my son suffer for 12 years. Son, beat him to death. He doesn't deserve to be Minato's teacher. Kushina became more and more angry. It's even time to mobilize the power of 9 Tails. Naruto looked at Jiraiya on the ground, and sighed helplessly. Distressed Jiraiya for a second. There is no way, if you don't do it, Kushina seems to be about to go berserk. With this in mind, Naruto raised his feet high. Hello, little devil, you are too much. At this time, Jiraiya, who was in severe pain, suddenly changed his face. In a blink of an eye, he went around directly behind Naruto, and there was a chokehold on the spot. This immortal has no grievances or enmities with you. Why did you make such a deadly move? Feel the strength on the neck. 0.5. A trace of helplessness flashed in Naruto's dead fish eyes. It's over. You did it first. Everyone in Jiraiya was dumbfounded. Why are you still opening your eyes and talking nonsense, you stinking brat? It's obviously, nourishing. Lightning suddenly appeared. But suddenly disappeared again. Jiraiya is in a daze. I saw a burst of scarlet chakra bursting out from Naruto's whole body. This is. Jiraiya quickly jumped out of the way and immediately entered the combat mode. Naruto twisted his neck and retracted Nine Tails chakra into his body. Afterwards, the disappearing thunder appeared in the hand again. No offense, my mother told me to tell you, go to hell. Nourishing, holding Reikari in hand, Naruto went straight to Jiraiya in a blink of an eye. Etc. Jiraiya was in a turmoil at this time, just wanted to stop Naruto, dodged and jumped onto the house. Little devil, you just stop talking nonsense to him, beat him, Kushina yelled. Naruto shrugged, he was also helpless. Too much movement may attract Sarutobi Hiruzen's attention, go to another place, Naruto. Use the Rasengan. He will come with you. Minato was still calm. Fine. Rasengan? Naruto exhaled, that's all he could do. Minato taught him before, and he learned it in only half a day. It's just that there is still no reasonable explanation for it. But now, never mind. Minato and Kushina have the final say. Let him do what he does. Don't want to worry about it. Minato is smarter than him anyway. Konoha puts people out of business and reopens. Jiraiya's eyes became more and more complicated. Little devil, are you? Let's talk later. Naruto said blankly, now, I have to beat you up. Z11. The thunderlight became more and more intense. Wait. Brat, Jiraiya wanted to say something more. But when he saw the rapidly condensed chakra ball on Naruto's right hand, his eyes widened again. This is, my dad taught me, he asked you if you were familiar with it. Whoosh. Left hand Reikari, right hand Rasengan. Naruto went straight to Jiraiya in a blink of an eye. How can the current Jiraiya have the mind to fight? He can only keep retreating, he has to ask about the situation. This child is the child of Minato and Kushina. That's the same blonde hair as Minato's, and those blue eyes. And that fleeting Nine Tails chakra just now. But it was because of this that he was extremely shocked and puzzled at this moment. Son, calm down first. I'm calm, Master Jiraiya. Suddenly ended the attack, stood still, and Reikari and Rasengan in his hands disappeared. If you want to know anything, just follow me. Whoosh. Naruto disappeared. Jiraiya was on the spot, and at this moment, he was a little lost. OFX3. That child, unexpectedly. Jiraiya was extremely puzzled. It's not that he hasn't seen Naruto. When Minato died in battle, he immediately received the key to the 8-sign seal. After receiving it, I rushed back to Konoha immediately. But then, the old man has returned to power. He didn't want to stay in Konoha, so he could only look at Naruto from a distance, and after confirming that the child was safe and sound, he chose to leave. But now, this kid seems to be impossible. The ghouls are sealed off, and the 9 tails are stripped, all of which are inevitable. Etc. Jiraiya looked at Naruto, who kept going away, and called out, but got no response. Anxiety flashed in his eyes, and he quickly followed. Father, is someone pretending to be Minato and Kushina and guiding Naruto? But in this case, how should Rasengan explain it? The principle of this technique is not complicated, but it is not generally difficult to use. As far as Jiraiya knows, Konoha has access to this technique. Naruto. Jiraiya rushed at full speed, heading straight for Naruto. If anyone is trying to mislead Naruto, there are only two people who can meet these conditions. The old man couldn't. He is now eager to let himself take over. It is impossible to induce Naruto to become hostile to himself. Then there is only one other person left, Orochimaru. Knowing the truth of the year, able to contact and grasp Rasengan, and full of malice towards the village. Jiraiya's eyes turned colder. This is the only possible explanation. Naruto ran all the way, Jiraiya chased all the way. This situation is not uncommon in Konoha. There was no fight between the two, and the villagers were no strangers to seeing the ninja passing by. Finally, when Naruto came to the suburbs, land and stand firm. There's no one around here, use shadow clone, Naruto. Minato's voice sounded, I'm going to beat him myself. Okay. Naruto, who was degenerated into a toolman, summoned 2 shadow clones. Then he pressed his hands behind the 2 shadow clones. 9 Tails chakra kept feeding in. The eyes of the 2 shadow clones suddenly turned into vertical pupils. After the consciousness is communicated, the 2 each used the transformation technique. Minato and Kushina, in this way, stand in this world again. Kushina is gearing up. Minato has a complicated expression. This is Jiraiya, who rushed over, saw these 2 figures from a distance. He widened his eyes, and all the guesses just disappeared in an instant. Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya rushed over quickly, her voice trembling. After 12 years, seeing the couple again, Jiraiya even wondered if she was dreaming. Otherwise, it is an illusion. 350 Jiraiya walked towards the 2 of them step by step. He wanted to rush to make sure, but was afraid it wasn't true. If this was a dream, he begged that time would pass more slowly. And if it's an illusion, then, go to hell, Hun Dan. Kushina rushed straight up and punched Jiraiya in the face. Pain. Not a dream. Such a realistic illusion. Kushina. No. Orochimaru. Jiraiya's eyes became more and more angry, and he hurriedly disturbed chakra himself. He vowed to beat this soul to death with his own hands. Orochimaru? Jiraiya's brain circuit made Kushina stunned. Where? Naruto shook his head, there is no breath of Orochimaru here at all. Minato also shook his head, he probably knew what the teacher was thinking. Yes. When he left chakra in Naruto's body, he never thought that one day, they would still be able to accompany Naruto in this way. What nonsense are you talking about, Hunden? Kushina ignored Jiraiya's nonsense, and a chakra chain tied Jiraiya firmly. This is. Jiraiya's eyes widened. This. Not an illusion. Minato and Kushina, are they really alive? The moment when Kushina used adamantine sealing chains. In fact, the most surprising one is Naruto, because he received a prompt from the system. Ding dong. Your special skill, adamantine sealing chains, has been upgraded to LV8. Shadow clone is controlled by Kushina, but it's still his shadow clone. The adamantine sealing chains used by Kushina are also his own skills. Wait until the shadow clone dissipates. Kushina's consciousness returned to the 8 trigrams sealed cause space, and all the abilities she used during this period were actually used by shadow clone. Have to say, at this moment, Naruto's heart was moved. The more powerful these advanced skills are, the more money it will cost to upgrade them. Naruto suddenly had an idea, or later. Just let Minato and Kushina out? He sleeps at home, and his skills are slowly rising? Naruto froze for a moment. I thought I was a toolman, a hard-working wage earner. But if you think about it differently, he is actually the real boss? Absolutely. And just when Naruto was thinking wildly, Kushina's fist hit Jiraiya's face again. I made you Orochimaru, I made you talk nonsense. LV8's adamantine sealing chains can handle tailed beasts. Used by Kushina, it is even more powerful, certainly. Jiraiya is not without the ability to resist. Although it is difficult to mobilize chakra, if you just want to get away, Jiraiya can still do it. But he didn't understand. Neither a dream, Kushina's hit feels so real. It's not illusion either, he's already messing with chakra. That Kushina who is beating him now, I let you trick Minato into being a Hokage. I let you ignore it, and it will be 12 years if you leave. Do you know what life Naruto is living? Do you know how much he has suffered all these years? Kushina vented his anger with punches and punches. The doubt in Jiraiya's eyes gradually turned into guilt and relief. It is true. Kushina is real. Don't know what's going on, but great. That's great. During Jiraiya's beating, she secretly glanced at Minato. Good boy, still as handsome as 12 years ago. The immortal was jealous when he saw it. Came back. Back. That's really great. I do not know how long it has been. When Kushina finally stopped, Jiraiya's face finally turned into a pig's head. Minato walked over silently. Zki, Jiraiya is laughing. Both eyes were so swollen that there was only a slit left, and he was still laughing. He is happy. But when Minato walked up to Jiraiya, sorry, Teacher Jiraiya, I still can't forgive you. Boom. A straight punch hit Jiraiya directly on the forehead. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Kushina was also taken aback. A loss of consciousness, adamantine ceiling chains dissipated, and Jiraiya flew out directly. Minato glanced at his trembling fist. It's not your fault that you were not in Konoha back then, you have your life, your hobbies and missions. Minato's voice trembled slightly. Kushina, who was furious, stopped shaking her red hair and came to her husband silently. I just can't understand it. Why, I have clearly entrusted this child to you, but 12 years, a full 12 years, this child can only see you once in a book. Why are you so cruel? Jiraiya staggered to his feet. Hearing Minato's words, he stood there dumbstruck. Looking at the trembling and holding back the tears of the disciple. Jiraiya found that she didn't dare to get close. Even, I have a little urge to escape from here. Yes. 12 years. Maybe it was because I lost my disciple once, which hardened my heart a bit. Or maybe he didn't want to come back and face all this sadness. Or maybe, they want to find the son of prophecy in the mouth of the great toad sage as soon as possible and save this painful world. But Minato is right. For 12 years, I haven't even spoken a word to Minato's children. The entrustment of the student before his death seemed to be forgotten by him. I am really not a bad teacher. If you can't protect your own disciple, you can't protect your disciple's family. Feel sorry. Thousands of words condensed into an apology. To no avail though, although irreparable. Although, 12 years late, be really sorry. When Minato and Kushina's emotions stabilized, Naruto silently found a branch, condensed it into a silk thread with chakra, and fished silently. Minato, Kushina and Jiraiya are sitting not far away. Their emotions have stabilized. So, you are all Naruto's shadow clone now? Arts, Jiraiya still felt a little weird. We've become one with 9 tails, and now we're 9 tails. Minato said calmly, and after speaking, he glanced at Naruto who was not far away, with a satisfied smile on his face. Minato didn't say anything about Naruto Mangekyo. He trusts his son, but his instincts as a cage-level strongman. He felt that this matter was not simple. Fugaku's Mangekyo, since possesses the power to transfer consciousness. Is there a possibility of Nuaochen, Fugaku's consciousness is also hidden in Naruto's eyes? Is that so? Disappointment flashed in Jiraiya's eyes. Although I know it's unrealistic, but he still hoped that the Minato and Kushina in front of him would really come alive. Even if there is only a slight possibility. Then, Jiraiya suddenly thought of something. Does the old man know? Jiraiya asked suddenly. Then, he clearly felt that the breath of the two of them was much colder. He tried to train Naruto into Konoha's war machine, and Danzo even tried to use illusion to change Naruto's will. If it weren't for us in Naruto to echo our chakra in him, now, you wouldn't be able to see us, Master Jiraiya. Minato said coldly, so you think, should I let Sarutobi Hiruzen know? Minato and Kushina's anger is so obvious. Jiraiya's eyes became more and more incredulous. Did you even call third generation by its name, Minato? He used to, but regarded the third generation as a wise man in the world. Ah. Jiraiya sighed. Grandpa, after all, he is still old. Old. Greedy for power, afraid of losing. The desire to control is also getting stronger. The reason why he chose to leave after Tsunade left the village. Apart from my own reasons, didn't I want to look at the teacher and gradually become a stranger? Power is poison. What he pursues is that everyone understands each other. Instead of becoming a Hokage, and then gradually becoming what you hate. RB. Minato, Kushina, what are you going to do now? Jiraiya asked tentatively. Minato's character, Jiraiya, is crystal clear. He didn't believe that Minato would do something outrageous. But Jiraiya couldn't help but worry. No reason to worry. Perhaps, this is also the intuition of a strong Kage level. I don't think how to do it, sir. Minato looked straight into Jiraiya's eyes and said calmly. I am dead, and so is Kushina, and my soul is imprisoned in Shinigami, 147 eternal life not to go to the Pure Land. I am very satisfied to see my son again, and even to take care of him and help him. W. Jiraiya was inexplicably relieved upon hearing this. But Minato wasn't done yet. He glanced at Naruto, then at his wife beside him. His eyes became a little colder. But I will not spare those who hurt us. Jiraiya's heart tightened. The masked man, that evil organization, and the truth of what happened back then, I have to investigate to find out the truth. Minato's tone grew colder. Who revealed the date of Kushina's delivery? It was the top secret of Konoha at that time. I dare not even inform you. However, that masked man was able to arrive at Konoha on time, and was able to find Jung Zinkong accurately. Jiraiya's eyes startled. Minato, what do you mean, old man? But Lord Bawako also died that night, old man. Jiraiya was half speaking, but saw Minato's half-smile expression. He realized something immediately. Konoha, other higher-ups. Yes. Minato's smile disappeared, and his eyes returned to coldness. Shimura Danzo, Utatane Kaharu, Maito Kado Homura. These three elders were the only ones who knew so accurately at that time. The person who harmed my whole family, I will definitely make him pay the price. Kushina held Minato's hand tightly. The couple looked at each other, and they both saw determination in each other's eyes. Jiraiya's heart beat faster. Things feel a little tricky. Minato and Kushina, it was not what he imagined. But it totally makes sense. Back then, when he heard the news that Nagato Konan and the others had been killed, didn't he immediately want to kill Rain Shinobi? If Tsunade and Orochimaru hadn't stopped him. How can I help you, Minato? Jiraiya asks in a complicated tone. He didn't know if it was right or wrong for him to do so. Konoha, the old man, Minato, Kushina, and that kid. The choice between the two made Jiraiya's head in a mess. Don't be hard on yourself, teacher Jiraiya. Minato saw through the entanglement in Jiraiya's heart, and said lightly. The ninja way you gave me is the enemy behind the mutual understanding between people must be found, that is the beginning of cholera. And Konoha. Me and Kushina, just want an apology. Naruto raised his eyebrows when he heard that. Jiraiya was taken aback when he heard that. Soon, he had a sore nose and mixed feelings in his heart. Minato, it's still Minato. Even after suffering such injustice, do you still love the village deeply? BBDC. Jiraiya immediately stood up. Relax, Minato. The teacher was not there when you needed me the most. This time, no matter what you wish, I will satisfy you. I'm going to find the old man now. He must repent for the mistakes he has made over the years. Jiraiya is leaving immediately, but Minato stopped him. Now is not the time, sir. Minato's expression became serious, and he shook his head under Jiraiya's suspicious gaze. Compared to this Orochimaru comeback, that's what I'm worried about right now. Orochimaru? Jiraiya was shocked. He's back. I'm afraid so. Minato nodded. With the malicious perception of 9 tails, Kushina and I both sensed his existence, and Kushina even locked his position with Kagura's mind. After these few days of investigation, we estimate that Orochimaru is planning to launch an attack on Konoha in the final examination of Chunin. Naruto raised his eyebrows again. After laying the groundwork for so long, Minato, it's time to start the operation. As soon as he heard Orochimaru, Jiraiya's breath suddenly cooled down. Have you found his location? In a short sentence, the murderous intent is revealed? Not really. Minato shook his head, but what is certain is that he will show up on that day. Kushina and I are worrying about how to tell Konoha's senior management about this, Khan. Minato glanced at Kushina with a wry smile. Jiraiya understood immediately. No problem, I will hide it for you. Thank you, teacher. We won't be able to come out for a long time. After that, I'm afraid we will fall into a deep sleep. Naruto will be handed over to you, teacher. Kushina also looked at Jiraiya. Don't let us down again, teacher Jiraiya. Jiraiya was about to say something, but at this time, the two disappeared together. Jiraiya's eyes came to Naruto, who was fishing. He rubbed his face and came to Naruto's side. Fishing with a chakra thread? It's pretty darn good, brat. Naruto glanced at him lightly. What do you say? A big fish was brought up immediately. Shall we eat together? Okay. In the sealed space. Seeing the two of them grilling the fish together, Minato smiled lightly. Orochimaru can't be trusted, and Jiraiya-sensei is too soft-hearted. Then let Jiraiya-sensei take charge of finding his nemesis. We are responsible for making Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo pay for their actions over the past decade. Hey. Not bad, young man, you can sell your grilled fish for money. Bake me another one. Give. Naruto looked at Jiraiya, the pig next to him, and was a little speechless. Minato is really blackened. Even Jiraiya is counted. Yes. It's impossible for Jiraiya to do something that would hurt Konoha. In the anime, the only time Jiraiya gets angry with Tsunade is to warn Tsunade not to think about revenge Konoha. Minato knows Jiraiya well, so let this one go straight to Orochimaru then. Well, Naruto sighed. He actually wanted to remind Minato that Orochimaru really wanted to kill the third generation. Fourth cage is probably already cold. Even impure world reincarnation is ready. With the addition of the first generation and second generation projects, it can be said that the preparations are complete. Let Jiraiya take Orochimaru. It can only be said that it is a bit unnecessary. But he didn't intend to worry about it. Taking down third generation, Minato is serious. And Danzo? Naruto makes no mention of the distinguished heavenly gods. It only said that Danzo may have a very strong Mangekyo, which can control others. Minato made Naruto run around Konoha that day. It directly locked the root base, in the outskirts of Konoha. It is a hidden deep underground base, highlight a robustness. It is estimated that even if Konoha is flattened, Danzo will be fine. Really? The words, Honkai Konoha, are more complicated than imagined. Naruto made a suggestion. Use the tailed beast bomb to push flat, and it will be done once and for all. But Minato strongly objected, because if you can't finish pushing, it will be troublesome. Konoha's all-out pursuit, the threat of the masked man, and the greed of other ninja villages. And even if the push is really over, there will be no place for him in the ninja world. These Naruto thought, just too lazy to think too far. And if you think too far, it's better to just wait for pain to come and follow the script. He can't wait. Do not clean up the itching all over. If you have to be targeted even when you lie down, then you can simply blacken it. Can now. Naruto has just been blackened, and it hasn't started to operate yet. Minato directly took over the operation again, and after a meal of planning, it felt like it had been separated. Then what are you worried about? Wait for the result. Naruto gave Jiraiya his grilled fish. He hadn't eaten at noon, so he could only catch another one. Fortunately, this small lake is big enough and there are enough fish in it. Naruto didn't worry about being hungry either. Now he seems to have returned to 6 years ago. Don't worry about getting stronger. Don't worry about revenge. Worrying about cooking, food and vegetables, and sleeping well is not good. But the difference is, 6 years ago, he couldn't do anything. Now, he's handing everything over to Minato, and he can't be bothered. Boy, who taught you how to fish with a chakra line? Coming to Naruto, Jiraiya held the pig's head, followed Naruto's example, and caught fish. No one taught. Naruto glanced at Jiraiya. About half a month ago, the Chunin exam hadn't started yet. My fishing line was broken and I couldn't afford a new one, so that's the only way I could do it. I see. Jiraiya's eyes flashed, then fell into silence. Jiraiya wanted to chat with this kid, but didn't know where to start. Talking about homework? He is also not familiar with Naruto's previous life hobbies. Moreover, Naruto looks like a 60-year-old man, listless, and it feels like he can't talk to each other. Talking about other things, I feel too sensitive. Minato and Kushina, you don't want to expose this kid to too much darkness, do you? So if that's the case, boy, it's still too slow for you to fish like this, look at me. Jiraiya suddenly thought of a good way. I saw him biting his fingers in seals with both hands, and then pressing on the ground violently. Do me a favor. Toad Jonsong. In the next second, a big toad with a purple body, a shield on its back, and a harpoon full of thorns appeared. Boom. Toad Jien landed on the lake and directly shook a bunch of fish out. I saw Toad Jien slapping it casually with the pot cover and shield, and a lot of fat fish were slapped ashore just like that. What is this guy doing? Why don't you go to old man Sarutobi to explain the situation? In the 8-sign seal space, Kushina asked with a frown. Hold on, Kushina. Minato smiled slightly, then said to Naruto. Naruto, if Mr. Jiraiya wants to teach you something later, don't hesitate to say yes. Trust me. Teacher Jiraiya will not harm you until the dust settles. Asking for flowers. 0 in the sealed space, Naruto's consciousness turned to look at Minato. Alright. If he wants to refuse, it is better to sign the wet bone forest than to sign the toad contract. But a salted fish never haggles. As much as you say, it doesn't matter if you don't look for it. Really? Jiraiya, who had been caught by Minato, immediately put her hands on her hips and laughed. How about it, boy? This is much faster than your fishing, ha 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 ha. Sharp. Naruto, who was drenched all over, picked up a big fat fish. Lifting the kunai, he quickly divided the fat fish into 2, took out the internal organs, and put them on. But when he was about to start roasting, he found that the fire just now had been extinguished. At this time, Jiraiya jumped over again, carrying a huge fat fish on his shoulders. Oh, the fire has gone out, but just right, the fire made by the branches of the field always has a strange smell. Look at my. I saw that Jiraiya quickly formed seals, and chakra condensed into oil. Fire-style flame bomb. Zilla, a group of raging fire hit the extinguished fire, and the flames fluttered instantly. How about it? My fire style burns with toad oil, so it will last longer. Jiraiya said proudly. Naruto watched Jiraiya being beaten into a pig's face by Kushina. Ah. Minato predicted it again, sharp. Naruto dressed the fish silently and started grilling the fish. Jiraiya was left on the sidelines. He couldn't make up his mind about Naruto's dead fish face for a while. Why does this kid look like an old man? At this moment, he thought of Kakashi. Kakashi used to be like this, every day was like dying. Until, he gave Kakashi a book. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. But I still gave up this idea, mainly because my face hurts. Let's be serious. How about, my fire style is good. Amazing. That big toad just now, isn't it majestic? Extremely majestic. Want to learn? Jiraiya looked at Naruto expectantly. Naruto turned his head and sized Jiraiya up with his dead fish eyes. Can be toweled. Dusk. Jiraiya still took the risk of being beaten up by Kushina, and brought Naruto to Konoha's paradise. Bathhouse. This is the first time Naruto has set foot in this kind of place. I've been there in my previous life, but it's always different. When he entered the door, he directly stood there for a long time. It was Jiraiya who taught Naruto how to go through the process with complicated expressions. In the end, the two still lay down in the hot spring. Oh, Jiraiya moaned, he has planned it. There is still 1 month left until the Chunin assessment. Minato and Kushina fell into a deep sleep again. Then let him help Naruto to fill in the gaps. This kid is talented. Kakashi's Raikiri, Minato's Rasengan, all mastered at such a young age. And this body, this bumpy flesh, 333, is quite strong, with the demeanor of his Mount Myoboku fairy back then. Also, the kid echoes Minato and Kushina's chakra, and has a grip on the Nine Tails chakra to a degree. Jiraiya felt that it must be easy for Naruto to pass the examination. If that's the case, after a while, I might as well send people to Mount Myoboku to practice. Just right. Signing the contract tomorrow will be regarded as taking over Minato's class. In this case, Minato and Kushina should also feel relieved, right? Naruto soaks in the hot spring. Thoughts, but a family meeting in the 8 trigram space. A family of 3 gathered around a table, all 3 of them had serious expressions. I'm going to get into the roots, investigate the events of the year, and try out Danzo's Mangekyo by the way. Minato said with a serious expression. Things back then were too strange. As the root leader, Danzo has no reason not to know. Sarutobi Hiruzen lost his first wife and shouldn't be too involved. I think Danzo must know something. Yes. Naruto nodded. The Fugaku clan chief told me that when the masked man appeared, the entire Uchiha was clamped in the clan by Danzo's roots. Is it? Minato frowned immediately when he heard the word Fugaku. Naruto. You must be defensive, your eyes. Use as little as possible. I see. Naruto nodded. When the shadow clone dissipated during the day, what Minato thought, Naruto had already received feedback. That was his shadow clone after all. Nine Tails chakra, also his chakra. Minato is equivalent to one of his chakra butlers. In essence, he still has 70% of Minato's control. Minato deserves to be Minato. He wanted to use Fugaku, who was dead and never told, to make up a lie about his Mangekyo existence. But unexpectedly, Minato noticed the loophole so quickly. But it doesn't matter, in his right eye. Indeed, there is still a chakra consciousness dormant. But not Fugaku, but a guy who was even more outrageous than that. Ashura. Naruto estimated that when he was promoted to Eternal Eye, he would be able to mobilize this consciousness. By that time, the speed of upgrading wood style may be several times faster. I'll go with you, Minato. Kushina bit her lip and said, my son has inherited the blood of our family, and you can't use many abilities. If I go with you, you can at least carry more chakra, so you don't have to go back to your son every now and then. After Minato heard the words, he smiled and agreed directly. That would be great, Kushina. I'm still worried that you were reluctant to part with your son. If we are together, I can try to use Flying Thunder God. Hearing Flying Thunder God, Naruto immediately became interested. That's it. You go to the root and get to the bottom of Danzo. I practiced with Jiraiya, so the 3rd generation can no longer monitor me. It doesn't matter if you don't know the details. It's just that the Flying Thunder God experience can go up. Don't worry, Naruto, Minato said with a smile. Father promises you. When you come back, it won't be long before you don't have to live in fear. Father and mother, those who hurt us will pay with blood. Naruto was silent for a moment. Okay. That night, Minato and Kushina, sharing Naruto's shadow clone, began their plan to dive into the roots. Naruto goes home to sleep, but not long after falling asleep. He was woken up by the sound outside the window. I didn't expect you to come back at this hour, Jiraiya. Not Ebisu's voice, it is 3rd generation purpose. Naruto remembered what Kakashi told him. I found a great person to teach you, who is several times stronger than me. He was still wondering if Ebisu would still be here. I didn't expect it to be a 3rd generation project. 2. In the 3rd Chunin assessment, he even used the 2-tailed mode. If it doesn't appear again, it's really not the style of 3rd generation's goal. I came back to collect materials. Don't think too much, old man. That's right. The material was collected in front of Minato's son's house. I told you a long time ago, it's time to come back. Jiraiya was silent for a moment. Yeah, if I don't come back. Hee. Jiraiya sneered halfway through the sentence, by the way, what are you doing here, old man? The 3rd generation could hear the strangeness in Jiraiya's speech. But he didn't know what happened. This child's chakra attributes are the same as mine. This old man intends to teach him personally. Jiraiya's eyes froze for a moment. What Water 4.8 was worried about still happened. Fortunately, he came back at this time. Otherwise, if Minato confronts the old man face to face, then Naruto. You'd better be your Hokage in the Hokage building, old man. Jiraiya said coldly. You are not suitable to teach others at all. Instead of worrying about Naruto, you should take care of another disciple of yours. Naruto will follow me to practice next. I'll watch him and pass the Chunin assessment. After Jiraiya finished speaking, her figure disappeared. Sarutobi Hiruzen pondered for a long time. He glanced at Naruto, who was sleeping soundly in the room, and then at the direction Jiraiya left. Chunin assessment. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. The night is long, and the moonlight shrouds Konoha village, and everything looks so peaceful. But where the shadows are shrouded, the murderous intent is revealed. Is that his real face? It looks very powerful, scarier than Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Sand Shinobi mission is located. Yukushi Kabuto and Baki stared at Kwangsha not far away, swallowing yin. Is it really okay? That Itonin? I thought he was a tool to test Sasuke. That's no need. I've been ordered to stop touching Sasuke. He'll figure it out. Is it? In the shadows, a figure appeared not far from the two of them, hiding in a corner, eavesdropping nervously. Moonlight Gale was a little flustered. Isn't that Genin Examinee Yakushi Kabuto? How could it run to Sand Shinobi's side? And what are they talking about? It feels like I heard something not very good. However, you are so stupid to come to me at this time. Really? I thought Captain Baki would praise my bravery. Hey, if you are exposed, Sand Shinobi will immediately terminate the operation. This is also the meaning of Kazekage-sama. Moonlight Gale shrank. Yin hooked up with Sand Shinobi. What are they doing? Almost. It's time to tell them the real plan, right? Do took out a scroll. This is Yin's proposal. Please destroy it in time after reading it. Okay, I know. Then, I'll take my leave first. Footsteps sounded. Moonlight Gale knew that he had to retreat quickly. Unexpectedly, as an ally of Konoha, Sand Shinobi would do such a thing, and I must report to Lord Third Generation immediately. Moonlight Gale decisively retreated. At the same time, Do also showed a murderous look in his eyes. Then, leave the rest to me. Moonlight Gale, who had just taken a step, was shocked. No need. Baki took a step forward. As Sand Shinobi of the Land of Wind, I must help my companions. And there's only one mouse. Whoosh, Baki disappeared. Moonlight Gale also began to evacuate at full speed. Although he has been a sick man all year round, his speed is not slow. But Baki's speed is obviously faster. Moonlight Gale didn't run very far, and was immediately stopped by Baki. Yo. Isn't this the examiner? Baki said in a cold and murderous voice. It's so late, what are you doing here by yourself? Cough. Yu Guang Gaifeng coughed, and silently pulled out the knife. I can only fight. Seeing this, Baki took a posture and prepared to defend. There was no way he could have let the mouse get away. Moonlight Gale made a seal with one hand, and then launched a charge. When he was about to swing the knife, his figure split into three. Konoha Ryu Dance of the Crescent Moon. Baki quickly distinguishes between afterimages and entities. And when he raised his head, Moonlight Gale's long knife had already fallen. Puff. The perennial illness still affected the performance of Moonlight Gale. The knife did hit, but it landed on Baki's shoulder guard. Blood spurted out, but it was clearly not fatal. Is this Konoha Ryu's Dance of the Three Suns and Moon? Konoha is really talented if he can practice this trick like this. With a smirk, Baki held Moonlight Gale's long knife. Knife skills are good, but it's only natural that you can't cut in. I can block your knife, but my windblade, you can. I saw a figure suddenly appeared on the long knife, and stepped on it suddenly. This unsuspecting sneak attack directly embedded the long knife into Baki's shoulder. Your name is Moonlight Gale, right? very brave. Wearing a hood, the whole body is shrouded in a black robe. Judging from the voice, it was a man in his 20s. The tone is gentle and convincing. Moonlight Gale only felt that the voice seemed familiar, but couldn't remember it for a while. Go. The voice urged. Thank you. There is no doubt that Yu Guang Haifeng has him decisively retreating. Although he doesn't know who it is, it must be from Konoha's side. You are weak. Baki was no longer calm at the beginning, and immediately used the wind blade in Jian, and the strong wind swept the figure of the person in front of him like a blade. The strong wind lifted the man's hood. Moonlight Gale took a look as he retreated. He couldn't see the man's face clearly, only saw a head of blonde hair. Who is it? Moonlight Gale didn't know, but he knew and ran away. Wait until the moonlight blast runs away. Baki's technique finally stopped, and he was about to pursue him when he suddenly felt a chill. Whoosh! A handful of specially made kunai flew over Baki's neck. If Baki is one step later, his throat will be cut on the spot. You are weak. Baki, who was busy trying to catch up with Moonlight Gale, hit him immediately. But just waited for him to turn around. Although our purpose is the same, it doesn't mean that anyone can violate Sleepy Leaf. Rasengan. That figure actually flickered above kunai, and the cold voice shocked Baki. Boom. Baki crashed to the ground. Minato landed gracefully, and Kushina's voice sounded in his head. Do you died? No, just dizzy. Tie it up and ask 820 if it's okay? It's such a hassle. He is a sand shinobi ninja, he can't ask anything. Kushina, our goal is Konoha Anbu. It's so troublesome, if I knew I would be at home. Minato turned his head and looked into the distance. Sure enough. The boy who has a relationship with Orochimaru has found Moonlight Hayate. It's only been a while, and Gale Feng has already fallen down. Minato sensed the boy leaving. The Flying Thunder God activated and came directly to Moonlight Gale. First, he erased the Flying Thunder God formula branded on Moonlight Gale's scabbard, and then pressed his hands on Moonlight Gale's body. Please, Kushina. Okay. I wouldn't waste chakra if it wasn't for being nice to our son during this guy's exams. These Konoha shinobi guys are more annoying than those back then. Kushina muttered, and at the same time controlled the Nine Tails chakra, injecting it into Moonlight Gale's body. This is not medical ninjutsu, but the effect is not too bad. Feeling the heartbeat of Moonlight Gale gradually recovering, Minato looked into the distance. There is Hokage's office. There are elders he once admired. There is his current enemy. Next morning, as soon as Naruto opened his eyes, he saw Jiraiya's big face on the plate. Boy, tell me loudly, do you want to become stronger? Neuropathy. Naruto ignored Jiraiya, got up, and washed up. This. Jiraiya felt awkward, but got used to it. Back then, there was a guy who was even more indifferent than this kid. Jiraiya jumped straight from the window into Naruto's cabin. Boy, are you afraid of pain? Afraid. If you're not afraid. Jiraiya, who was about to take out the contract scroll, was taken aback. Then he quickly shook his head. It seems that the usual way to deal with this kid is useless. Man, how can you say you are afraid? Jiraiya grabbed Naruto's hand, brought chakra on the fingertips, and precisely slit Naruto's finger. Then spread out the large contract scroll and point to the blank column. Quick! Write your name on it, don't waste your blood. Only then did Naruto relieve the restless chakra. Fortunately, I got used to it. Otherwise, when Jiraiya caught him just now, he might have to eat Rasengan on the spot. Naruto stretched out his finger, about to sign the scroll. But just as the finger fell, it was discovered that the blood had stopped flowing. It's not about Nine Tails, it is caused by Naruto's sage body. Accompanied by age. Although Hashirama and Tobirama's templates are only 10%, only attributes are not given to sage body. But the blood that comes with the body has also begun to appear. Coupled with the energy of constitution that he had kryptonized long ago, the speed of growth accelerated under the mutual echo. Naruto glanced at the system interface. The 3 attributes are steadily improving. Can't take the initiative to add points, but it is increasing day by day. Personal attributes, 3. The recharge channel is locked. Constitution energy, 14,120 chakra volume, 15579. Spirit energy, 15,910 after opening the Mangekyo Sharingan, spiritual energy skyrocketed. Overtaking on a curve has exceeded the constitution energy and chakra blessed by sage body. But it is a one-time blessing, and the next passive increase will have to wait until Mangekyo break through. But the energy of constitution and the amount of chakra are increasing day by day. Naruto bit his finger, signed his name on the contract scroll. Very good, then, let's go with this immortal. Satisfied, Jiraiya put away the scroll. In this way, it can be regarded as an explanation to Minato and Kushina. Under Jiraiya's glazed gaze, Naruto set out with a plastic bag, 2 sets of clothes, and his fishing rod. Jiraiya plans to take Naruto to the Land of Fire. It's not too far away. If you drive at full speed for the round trip, it will take an extra 3 days. But the scenery and practice along the way are the purpose of Jiraiya. Naruto agrees. No objection. The collapse plan is now managed by Minato. He is also idle in Konoha. Not long after Naruto's front foot left Konoha. You're awake. Moonlight Gale opened his eyes and found himself lying in a dark room. The candlelight flickered, and there was a handsome face in front of him. Who are you? I've seen you when you were a child. It's been so many years, and your condition is still not cured, Mr. Haifeng. This gentle voice, this face of figure slowly emerged in Yuguang Haifeng's mind, but soon, he realized something. I see, I'm already dead. Don't say such things. Minato knocked on Moonlight Hayate's forehead. You survived, but you were injured too badly, so don't mess around. Moonlight Gale was stunned. He wanted to get up hard, but a sharp pain in his abdomen made him give up again. But his eyes became more and more excited. I'm not dead. Intelligence, yes, intelligence. Moonlight Hayate tightly grasped Minato's hand. Hurry up. Tell the 3rd-generation lord that San Shinobi and Otonobi are colluding, and they seem to be plotting against Konoha. Minato, watching Moonlight Hayate quietly. The smile on his face gradually disappeared. This kid, I didn't recognize him. Quite normal. After all, he has been dead for so many years. But the adults of 3rd generation are really popular. In 12 years, it seems that the existence of a Hokage has been directly erased. For the records of that year, there is only the word, hero. The hero's wife. Descendants of heroes. What did the hero do? Not a word. Really have you, Sarutobi Hiruzen. You need to rest, Gale. Minato's voice is still gentle. Don't worry, I'm here. Moonlight Gale gradually calmed down. You. Remember? Minato smiled. Master 4th Hokage. But you are not. Are you an illusion? Who are you? Boom. A tail condensed by 9 tails chakras suddenly protruded from behind Minato, directly knocking out the moonlight blast. It's so noisy. Kushina said impatiently. You've already rescued him, and entered the Hokage building with his identity. Why are you making such trouble? Minato was silent, without rebuttal. Stop your mother-in-law. Now you are not 4th Hokage, Namikaze Minato. When my son was suffering, I didn't see anyone lending a helping hand. What qualifications do you have to sympathize with others now? Kushina's seemingly heartless words touched Minato deeply. Yes, he, Nuo Lihao, is no longer 4th Hokage. Not even qualified to sympathize with others. He can help others, but what about his son? For 12 years, except for one Uchiha Patriarch whose purpose is unknown, the Uchiha Patriarch. I see, Kushina. Minato's 2 fingers stood up, and the sealing formula appeared immediately, and the densely packed symbols bound the moonlight blast. Minato, on the other hand, turned into Moonlight Gale. Before leaving, he vaguely sensed it. In the Mangekyo of the sun, there is still a breath hidden. Revenge can be carried out at any time. But finding a way to force out that breath is the thing to do now. Since those are Fugaku's eyes. Then when he sees an opportunity to kill his enemies, he should come out, right? Minato's eyes turned cold. As Kushina said, now, there is no time to dawdle.